Hey everybody, how you doing out there in internet land? My name is Freddy Hidalgo coming to you from DS Domination on the Dream Team. We are so excited and we are pumped up about today's Google Hangout. We just got back from a great event and I'm still pumped up. My blood vessels are just boiling with blood because I'm so fired up about how excited I am from all the brand new changes in DS Domination. In fact, many of you have been watching Hangouts and you've been checking things out. You've been watching us on Facebook. You've been seeing posts. You've been seeing Google Plus posts. You've been seeing VK posts. You've been seeing Twitters. You've been seeing YouTube videos, all kinds of things about DS Domination. And you have either engaged or you have not engaged, but whether you have or you're not, I want to tell you this, that it is not even the same. DS Domination, as you know it, has totally been buried and resurrected as DSD2. As you can see, I have a hat, DS Domination, that's DS Domination 1. I wear it in remembrance because it's something, you know, whenever someone you love is lost and they get put in the ground, you got to throw some respect, you got to throw some reverence. So I wear it in reverence, but it's all about DS Domination 2.0. DS Domination 2.0 just rolled out, and I'm telling you, everything in our back office is so amazing. The training is just completely different. It's more easy. Everything is more automated. For those of you that don't know what automated means like, okay, back in the days, you'd have to cook a whole lot of stuff, and people would fire up, wood, and they'd go get a skillet and they go cook their food. Well, we live in an automated day where you just go through the drive-through and you just tell them what you want and you give them some money and it's automated. Or you're at home and you have a microwave and you throw your pizza in the microwave and or your Hot Pocket in that microwave and it's automated. Well, DS Domination 1, many of us, all of us, we've spent time, and I don't look at it down. It's good. It was good experience. You would actually spend time looking at items that you're going to search for and list to sell for profit on eBay. Well, now things have become more automated where you don't spend all that time and things just happen more swiftly. I can talk about DS Domination 2 all day, but to keep my mouth shut and to keep me from talking about it all day, we have a number of panelists here on the bottom that have joined us. We have people from all across the United States, and we have rock stars all the way from the UK that are on this Hangout, and all of them have all kinds of nuggets and tips and just value that they're going to give to all of you out there in internet land so you can understand for yourself and make a conscious decision for yourself. Understand, none of us here are going to try to sell you. When you go look at cars, you want to look at cars, right? You don't want someone to come and put you in a headlock and put your head to a car and say, dude, you need this, you need this. When that happens, you want to leave. We don't want this Hangout to be that way. We don't want this to be a sales pitch gimmick Hangout, but we want you to understand the value that we've received and how DS Domination has changed our life. And when you hear that, you can make a conscious decision for yourself. Is DS Domination for me or is it not for me? Is it worth me going into my bank account and getting a huge whopping $19.95 to get started? That is the question. There's no risk value other than $19.95. So as you're approaching this Hangout and watching and listening, I want you to just keep that in mind, that you too can have the experience that we have. So the way we're going to rock this off, I'm going to turn this over to my good friend Susan Whitaker. Susan Whitaker is someone to me who is of extreme value. I mean, I go to her YouTube videos, and I send her YouTube videos to everybody who asks me about certain questions upon PayPal or eBay, and she just does a good job at explaining things. But today, she's not going to come out here and try to teach you all how to do this. She's going to talk about what she's done and applied from the training, how she has greatly benefited and how her life has changed. So Susan, why don't you go ahead and take the next few moments just to introduce yourself, where you're from, and where you are right now at DS Domination.
Thanks, Freddie. It's such an honor to be in the webinar with you, hang out with you, because you're a rock star, man. I just love it. And I love your sound effects that you always have too. Great stories. So my name's Susan Whitaker, and I live in the Midwest, the home of the Buckeyes, Ohio. And I got started in DS Domination in November 2013, and it was I was very reluctant. I was, like Freddy talked about, I was in DS Domination 1, and I didn't want to do another business, another multi-level MLM business, because everybody at the top, you got the people at the very top they show their checks, 100 and some thousand a month, and I was spending money on my auto ship or whatever, and I'd done 4 businesses. I'd only made money with one, and I just wasn't willing to go there. And so I got a job, and I would sit at my computer and I would do my data entry job for, I think I was making $10.50 an hour. And man, my wrists started hurting, and this Kenya friend of mine kept posting that she'd made money here, she made money there. It took her 5 minutes, and finally, after watching for 2 or 3 months, I was like, okay, what is this thing that you're doing? And I looked at it, and my husband, who's always skeptical about everything, he looked at it with me and he said, of all the things that you've tried, this might be the one that works. And the reason he was interested in it is because I could make money sitting quietly at home, just like I sat quietly at home doing my data entry. I could make money with no one joining. I didn't have to tell anyone I was doing it at all. And that was the first business where you could make a large sum of money and no one had to know. And that was a beautiful thing, because I don't know about you, but I had reached points where you walk into a family get-together or to hang out with friends, and they all go, oh God, here she is. Is she going to do her spiel? Oh geez, I hope she doesn't go there again.
Right.
And I was sick of that. And so DSD was a godsend, and I make money every month. The first month I made $500, and that was in the midst of 4 kids. My husband worked full time. He also took 2 classes a night. He also taught 2 classes a night. So there's 4 nights he's gone. And I was working 20 hours a week, and I made $500 that first month. So since then, I've quit my part-time job. I make money every month. I'm making a lot of money because I've moved up to sell on Amazon now. And man, the DSD2, the new training, the way it's been revamped, my mind is blown. I can't get enough of the training. And man, for you guys that haven't joined, if you aren't willing to part with $19.95 just to check it out, I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
I don't know what to tell you.
Susan, I often tell people, I said it's $19.95. Just don't go get a pizza this weekend.
Right.
Just jump on board, and if you did not like it, absolutely, if it was not for you, then you can just let it just quit the next after your first 30 days. But if you really give it, I tell people, if you really give it 90 days, if you really give it 90 strong days, you will not quit. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely, and that's the key, Freddie. I've had people that have joined and quit, and the primary reason is they were unable or unwilling to give it the commitment. And it doesn't take an enormous amount of time. It just takes a consistent daily effort. And if you just do it, if you're going to do it as a hobby, don't waste your time. But if you're going to do it to provide your family with some income, whether it's a part-time job or to pay for the kids' camps this summer, or if you want to make money, then give it what it deserves. But if you're just going to do it as kind of a, hey, I think I'll try this hobby kind of thing, hobbies cost money. They don't make money.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, you see why I say this woman has much great value. I feel as if I read a book from John Maxwell when I speak to my friend Susan. She's an awesome woman, and Susan, we really appreciate you, the value that you bring, and thank you for that. Next, we're going to go to Steve. Steve is all the way from the UK. Now that's a long way. It's probably the other side of the clock. Right now I just barely woke up. It's 11:30 in the morning. It's probably nighttime there. I don't know. All I know is he sacrificed his time to jump on this Hangout, and he wants to tell you about DS Domination from a UK standpoint, how it's blessed his life, how it's changed his life, and also I want him to touch on a little bit about the difference between DS Domination 1 and DS Domination 2. I tell people this. It's like, you know how smartphones are amazing? Like, I absolutely love my smartphone. It's a Galaxy Note 4. It got an S Pen. I don't really need anything else. This is the most amazing phone in the world. But then they make another phone, right? That's like better. They'll even statistically prove it because it has more gigahertz or more whatever. And then it makes me want that phone. Well, when it comes to like technology rapidly improving and us trying to keep up with it, DS Domination is like that. DS Domination is rapidly improving, and it is totally changing and just morphing to keep up with the times of technology updates. So in the UK, there had been previous maybe restrictions and things going on that were maybe something difficult to wrestle with because they were international. DS Domination 2 is rolling out with all kinds of things at this moment to make everything much more automated, much more easy. But enough said. Enough said with that. I want Steve to introduce himself. I want Steve to tell everybody out there who he is and what he's doing with DS Domination. Steve, go ahead and take the mic, man. Tell us what's going on with you. How are you doing?
Okay, first of all, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfect.
That's great. First of all, thank you for inviting me on here. It's an extreme honour, and I mean that. I never thought I'd ever be appearing on the Dream Team webinar. A little bit about myself first, because that will explain how far I've come with this amazing business. I'm a retired police officer, and about 5-6 years ago, I had a very serious nervous breakdown, probably as serious as you can get, without going into gory details, but it involved a bottle of booze and tablets.
Right.
One of the scars that left me was confidence. And as you can imagine, as a police officer, you do require confidence, self-esteem, and be able to talk to anybody, deal with anything. So when I came out the other end of this nervous breakdown with no confidence, that hit me hard. And it wasn't until I joined DSD that these things changed. And with the help of my wife, but very much so the help of DSD, my life's been turned around. I joined DSD in February 2014. And at the end of the first month, we made £100 profit, which was not a lot, but as far as I was concerned, it was a profit, and it proved to me the system worked. Now, I manage a large team within the UK, which has members from all over the world. Obi and I attended a conference, a DS conference in the UK, I think a year ago now, and we shared a stage together. I have to be honest that sharing the stage is the only thing we did, because Obi had the confidence to go out there and actually talk. I just sat there behind her like a nervous wreck. But it was the first step to recovery. And DS has changed our lives completely, from financial point of view to health point of view.
Right.
We had serious financial issues a year ago. We now, 12 months later, having put in a lot of work on the sales side and also the affiliate side, we now are on the verge of emigrating to Portugal. So in a space of 18 months, that is how much our life has changed.
Wow.
And DSD, although the money is great, and I would never give that up, my health is much better, is much more valuable. And DSD and all the friends that we've made within DSD, all the help and support, has brought me back. And I'll be forever grateful.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, if you just heard that, your socks should have hit the floor from being knocked off, you know, with massive explosion, because honestly, I'm serious. I'm actually moved by this. You know, a police officer that deals with the stress of everyday life as a police officer, dealing with all the things that a police officer does, it was affecting his health. I sat here and listened to him, and many of us have different jobs, different careers, different, whether you're working at a convenience store, whether you're working wherever you're working, you know, you're going to have to deal with certain things, and there are some situations where you have no say so. There are some bosses that treat you ways that you just can't get around because it is your livelihood. You have to make that paycheck. Well, with law enforcement, you know, that stress level is even much higher because of all the demands and everything required, and it was affecting his health. You know, one thing I caught in his little testimonial here is that he has felt all this relief, and he's felt like this rest, and he feels peace just getting involved in DS domination. And the reason why is because he's got a vision of himself getting out. That right there is what really got me, because he sees himself moving out, and it's happening, and it's happened, and it's only getting greater. So, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you this: if you're working a job right now, you're working some 9 to 5 or something that's causing you lots of stress, not only can DS domination financially bless you, but it can really, really, really take a lot of weight off your shoulders. Um, he got to a point where he was almost losing his ability to talk because of his gratefulness and gratitude to what DS domination has done for him. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the kind of testimonials that are happening. I got a testimonial. See this little boy here? This is Nathaniel. He's 2 months old. He's my fourth child. He's my boy. And right now, my wife is at the gym working out because she wants to get healthy. She wants to live long. And I'm here with all my kids. So I have to get all my kids, my 3 kids, throw them on the other side of the house. And I'm watching this boy as he's by my feet drinking his bottle, but he wants to be in my arms now. Now, I work from home. I do DS domination. Did you hear him burp? I'm sorry. Excuse us. And I do DS domination from home. So I'm drop shipping from home. I'm mass marketing DS domination from home. My wife and I we're involved in Amazon. We're getting really deep involved in Amazon right now. But right now you're listening to that and you're like, oh well, you know, that sounds good. You're one of those few people. Can I tell you, it wasn't that way for me. I was, before I got involved in DS domination, I was a sales rep for Arizona Exterminating here in Arizona, and I was not making much money. My boss got terminated because of illegal things they were doing, and so on. And I was a sales rep working underneath that, and it was looking like I was going to lose my job because of that. And I can tell you that my first month in DS Domination, I made $300 drop shipping, selling Spider-Man costumes around September of 2013, right before October Halloween. So around October comes around, I'm selling all these Spider-Man costumes, and I'm like, I made $300 in 1 week. And I was like, whoa, this is bigger than I thought. So then the next month, my wife and I keep drop shipping and selling, and we sold between $1,200 to $1,500, and it just kept going up and going up and going up. And then I just wasn't trying to recruit people or go out and bring people to the business. I was just making money drop shipping, which I never had done online. Previously, I had to go and, you know, have a milkshake you're going to party about, go meet at a Holiday Inn, all that stuff. Well, I didn't tell anybody about this. I was keeping it private. Once I made some money in my bank account, enough to pay for groceries and gasoline for my vehicle, all of a sudden I'm like, you know what, I'm going to tell some people about this. I started just telling a few people. They started jumping on board, and whenever their phone started saying cha-ching and they started making money, I'm sitting here getting excited. They're getting excited. They're going off telling people. Then I start making another stream of income off the DS Domination 2.0 affiliate program. So now I'm over here making money referring people, which I didn't even have to because I was already making money if I wasn't referring people. So it's just like, it makes sense to just get all in with everything DS Domination offers. Now it's optional, not a commandment. It's optional to recruit. Nonetheless, that being said, from that point to this point where I'm at, I just moved into this house. This house is the largest house I've ever lived in. I am blessed. I am really, truly thankful to DS Domination, and we're just 2 men, me and Steve here. So, Steve, thank you for the value. Thank you for that testimonial. Man, I'm excited. All right, we're going to move over here to our good friends Paul and his lovely wife. I see Paul has a DS Domination shirt on. You know, the logo, this is the new logo. This is the new brand, everybody. DS Domination 1 has long and gone. Rest in peace, but resurrection time, DS Domination 2. I'm going to turn over to Paul. Paul, why don't you tell us who you are, who your wife is, introduce yourselves. Maybe your wife can introduce herself as well, and both do a little tag team action telling us about how DS Domination is changing your guys' lives.
Okay, awesome. You hear me good there, Freddy?
I hear you good.
Okay. Well, thanks for having us, everybody. It's an honor for us to be here today. I'm Paul Pearson. It's my wife, Michelle. And I think the funny thing is, both Susan and you touched on this just a little bit. There's something that people don't get really about DSD is you make money from the product. And people look at MLMs traditionally and stuff. It's like you got to go recruit, you got to go get this person, you got to get this person in, and you build this little triangle going up to get the money and stuff. And the coolest thing about DSD, you don't have to recruit, you don't have to bring anybody in. You can simply follow the training, do what it says, and you can make money. We were involved in a traditional home-based business. Actually, we're still involved in it, but it's on the sideline now. It's just residual at this point. But we're coming up on 2 years, and even in this 2-year time span of this other traditional home-based business, we have not made as much money as we have in the last 3.5 months using DSD and the products. The training is phenomenal. We just came out of that event in Dallas. We were down there, and the original DSD, DS Domination, was awesome. But now the DSD2, we actually took a few extra days to kind of play around in Texas, so I haven't had the chance until just these last couple of days to delve into the new training in the back office, and it's just like, oh, this is so good. I'm scrambling, taking notes, I'm rewinding the video, I'm doing it. I've already been applying it on eBay and Amazon. It's very exciting to be part of this company that is just so generous to the people involved. And honestly, $19.95. It's a no-brainer. I know people think that's there's some type of a scam in there. For $20, people, $20, give this a shot, and it'll blow your socks off.
Wow. Wow. Yes, when I first heard of the $19.95 cost of it, I actually pulled away from it because of that price. I'm sitting here like, well, $19.95. And Kenya is my sponsor. She's the one who introduced it to me. We've been involved in previous, like you said, other MLMs. We partied like crazy. I mean, I remember going to somebody I would pull on board on my team for $900, right? And then I would sit down with them. And there's nothing wrong with this. By the way, out there, if you're doing this, thumbs up. You're awesome. You rock. You're the very small 2% of the superstars that actually have success, because this is what we do. Not everybody can do this, but I'm a master at this, and I'd go to people's house. I sit down, get a list out, have them write 25 of their closest friends and family. Once I get the list of 25 people, then I sit there and say, okay, now we're going to pre-party. Let's get a phone. We have a script, and you have to memorize that script, adjust it to your character, and you have to basically say, hey, Mom, how you doing, Mom? Hey, what's going on? How's Dad? Oh, he's doing good? That's cool. Oh, yeah, Nathaniel? Yeah, he's doing good. Hey, Mom, have you ever, and then boom, there's a little pitch, and you have to try your hardest to sound like you're not trying to sell. You got to try to sound like you're authentic. Like, hey, Mom, want to come over to some party? You got to somehow get them involved. And then, anyways, they, out of the 25 people, 5 people come. Out of the 5 people come, 3 people sign up. And this is the thing about that. My good friend Hitesh Juneja, the founder and the inventor of DS Domination 2.0, he told me something in my living room, and I'll never forget it. He's in my house with his family, and he goes, Freddy, when it comes to multi-level marketing, no matter what, traditional multi-level marketing, 90% of your team is always in the hole. And I didn't understand that. Explain that to me. He goes, well, check it out. You paid $900 to join XYZ company. You're in the hole, $900. Yeah, you got all this wonder product on your counter. This mineral can make your hair follicles twice as strong. This vitamin can make you grow an inch. This vitamin here makes your muscles, all that super stuff. And those are good products. I'm not downing them. They're good. I'll take them too. But the thing about it is, I'm in the hole. I have to go get 3 other people, not just anybody, friends and family, the closest people that are supposed to have my trust, get them in the hole with me. So then 3 people pay $900 to jump in the hole. Then I get out of the hole, and I'm like, okay, my feet are still kind of in the hole because I haven't made that much profit, but my head's breathing air. I'm not buried. Okay, cool. But my family members are buried. And then those 3 people got to go get 3 people, which never happens. It's like a 5% chance that even will come to be where 3 people get 3 people. But let's just say they're superstars and they do, right? Let's say they're famous. Let's say they're like the most popular pop band people in the world that can get people. 3 people get 3 people. Then there's 9 people in the hole. There's 3 people broken even. And then finally, I'm like, cha-ching, I'm over here like this. Let me. Now that's me. Now 3 people are like, well, I got my money back. And then the 9 people are like, dude, I'm in the hole. 9 people, I'm not going to go much further. 9 people goes to 27. 27 people in the hole. Then you got like 296 people in the hole. Then you got like 700,000 people in the hole. So then I can sit there and be like, I'm a 5-star diamond in this company. Well, yeah, you are, but 90% of your, 96% of your entire corporation organization is in the hole. Wow. And you're making all that money, which is cool. But 96% of all the people are in the hole. Ladies and gentlemen, for me, it was not good for me to do that, especially as a pastor. At the time, I was an ambassador in this other company with a shake mix that tastes like cake mix, and it's a daily replacement on a 90-day challenge. I remember it, and I had all kinds of volume. I had like $160,000 in volume every single month, and it just really got to a place where people were not trusting me, like you heard in the testimonials below. I'd walk into a building, and as a pastor. And rather than people see me as that's the man of faith, that's a man who will give encouraging words, that's a man who will pray with me, who will actually listen to my problems. I went from that to being, oh, that's a man who's got this 90-day challenge, he's going to help me lose 30 pounds. And I'm like, no, that's not me. And whether you're a pastor or not out there, you are somebody to somebody, and you want to stay that somebody to somebody. You don't want to be something else that you're not. So, maybe we can hear from your wife. I want to hear from your wife just a little bit. Why don't you come out here, tell us what your opinion is on all of this and how it's affected you.
Thank you, Freddie. It's awesome to be here. It's really an honor to meet everybody and be in part of this panelist. Well, we joined at the end of January, and I had met Alessandro in Kenya at a different, not a DSD event, but a different one, and I was really impressed with his leadership. He had a number of people around him. I could tell how much they honored him and respected him and really loved them, and it got my attention. We started talking, and his son does karate, and we do karate, and so we were just talking, and I said, you got to tell me what it is, and he didn't want to tell me right then, and finally I kind of got it out of him, and I talked to Kenya, and I just really, that's what got me interested. Their leadership and the kind of people they were. And that's the one thing that's really impressed me with the people in DSD. They're so genuine, and they want to help. Just like you said, Freddie, you want to help. You don't want people to be in the hole. You want people to really succeed. And I think that's awesome. Even in these panelists, I know some of these people, Steve, he wants to help his people succeed. And well, we got home, we got the link, and I told my husband, I said, you got to watch this. He goes, you seem excited about it. I'm like, yeah, I'm really excited about this. I think this is going to be, this is it,
It's the life changer.
Yep, and he watched it for about 5 minutes. He came to my office. He's like, okay, this is it. And so it's really been a blessing, and we've made good money with it, and it's been a lot of fun. It's fun.
It's really fun.
It's fun, and it's a great company. They really care about the people. The training is amazing, and if you have any questions, you can ask. You don't know? You post on Facebook. You text somebody, someone who will help you, and I think that's really important to be successful in any company.
Yes, whenever I look at the dream team has really changed my life because I could have joined this domination without having a team, and it still would have benefited me because the training is just phenomenal, and it's very step by step. It's you log into your back office, ladies and gentlemen. When you log into your back office in DS Domination, you're going to see the level of pro which you joined, and you're going to see module 1, module 2, module 3, all the way up to about module 19. Now you get to watching these modules. Each module is in order. Each module is you're watching someone else's computer screen, so it's as if you were behind me, and I'm over here like, hey, Mike, let me show you how this is done. And I'm a pro. I'm a real pro showing you. And you're like, okay, Freddie, well, if that happened, if you come to my house and I did that, that would be good. Can I tell you these modules are better than that? Because you can replay modules. You can't replay me. And I won't repeat myself twice because you're wasting my time if I have to sit here and go back to what I was teaching about 30 minutes ago. So these modules are priceless. And as you heard from these two wonderful people here, it's fun. So this is how we're going to do this. Before we cross over to our last panelist, I want to say to both of you, we appreciate you and the Dream Team. We appreciate the value that you bring. I love seeing husband and wife teams because they're a power couple. They're a team. Whenever you know, if you're married out there, it's not very likely that you are making income with your wife. You have your own job, but she has her own job, or vice versa. You know, something like that. But when you do something together that brings you together, my hat's off to that. So congratulations and thank you. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to Katrina. Katrina, I'm going to jump over to you. I have not had the honor of meeting you and getting really familiar with you, but this is how we're going to do this. Katrina, she's a part of the Dream Team. Katrina, have you been on a Dream Team Hangout before?
No, I have not.
This is simply amazing because, okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is her first time on a Google Hangout. That means, you know, for those of you out there, you're listening to all these panelists, you're like, well, they're experienced. Well, he's been working from home for 2 years. Well, Katrina's somebody, she may not even work from home, but she just got involved in DS Domination, and I'm going to let her tell you what DS Domination is doing for her. So, Katrina, why don't you go ahead and tell us who you are, where you're from, and how you got involved, and what it's done for you so far.
Okay, so I live just outside of Manassas, Virginia, or Washington, D.C., in Manassas, Virginia. And I got started with DSD when a really good friend of mine, she and I have been friends for like 22 years, she'd been posting on her Facebook page this for probably a year about how she'd been making money and all this great stuff. And so what I did is finally, I had been working from home. I have my own business doing meeting and event planning, and had kind of gotten into a little bit of a rut, lost my biggest client, which was 90% of my income, and so I started working part-time in retail. Well, guess what? Retail doesn't pay hardly at all, and they want you to work all the time, and Kelly, my friend, had posted this information about DSD, and I'm like, okay, just tell me what it's about, you know, what's going on. So she sent me the link, and I signed up. The minute I saw it, I was like, okay, I can do this. I love to shop. I'm great on the web, shopping on the web. I can do this. And I will tell you that my first month, I made $88. And I thought, this will work. I can do this. Second month, I made like $400. That was in September of last year. And then what happened is I was still working part-time in retail. My situation got a little crazy. I have no idea how much money I made in November, December. But what I do know is that I got into a lot of trouble with eBay because I wasn't able to fill my orders, and you know, I wasn't really following the training very well, which is really stupid because the training is really good, and with DSD2 it's really great. So in January I kind of had to start over. I lost my eBay account almost completely. They went from $35,000 down to $5,000, and I had to kind of start over. And January this year, I made $100. But now, last month in May, and I will tell you that I was traveling 3 weeks out of the month of May, I made $1,700.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
You know, that's the thing that just tells you that you can make it happen if you just try. And the thing that I love about the Dream Team and about DSD is that there's always somebody to, you know, give you a little step up, give you great advice, and help you think for yourself, because as an entrepreneur, you have to be able to do that. Take your business into your own hands. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate Kenya, David Munn, Kelly, my sponsor, Corey. There's just a ton of people that have always given me really good advice on the Dream Team site and through DSD2, and there's absolutely nothing that I can think of that I would rather do more. I did, by the way, quit my retail job in January.
Wow.
So way to go. Don't get me wrong. I have a long way to go because my goal is $8,800 a month in profit, and that's where I'm headed for.
That's just amazing. Wow. Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard that. She has goals. See, that's the thing about DS Domination is that you can make $100 a month, as she said she did. You can make $300 your first month, as I said I did. You know, now her goals have changed, and they're $8,800. That's just ridiculous from home. Most people that do this, I would say 80 to 90, maybe even 97% of people who do this wear their underwear while they're at work. Because you're working from home, I don't know about you, but most people walk around and in their birthday suits. But they're working. This is the thing. They're at home working, and that's the cool thing about this whole DS Domination 2.0. Thank you, Katrina, for everything that you've just said. Thank you for the value. We're excited about having you on the Dream Team, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over next to our next panelist. So thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to crush everything out with Oberon. Oberon's a good friend of mine. Give me 1 second. He's not hungry anymore. He wants me to hold him. He was like, I want to be on the Hangout. Huh, buddy? Okay. Next, I'm going to turn this over to Oberon. Oberon is from the UK. I had the honor of meeting Oberon, hanging out with her in Dallas, Texas at the DS Domination 2.0, the Era of Domination event, and she is just a phenomenal leader. She has a team over there that she's leading, that she's encouraging, many testimonials, and I can say a lot about Oberon, but I'm going to go ahead and just pass it over to Oberon. Oberon, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been in DS Domination, and what it's done for you?
Hi. Oh my goodness.
Get out of here.
There we go. You see, you probably just saw my kids behind me. They came in again, and
Yep.
everybody's kid wants to be on the Hangout.
And whenever you're working from home, you know, that kind of stuff just happens. You have
It's daily life, you know. It's terrible. But oh, he's so cute. I'm coming over there to steal your son. Look at him. Look at his little chubby face. Oh.
It's his first Hangout.
Oh, he's so cute.
Thank you.
But yeah, I started back in the day in November 2013, and I started off exactly like everybody else you see on this panel. All of us started the same way. We put in our credit card details, wondering, what the heck am I doing? Is this, you know, is this going to be yet another, you know, one of those things that just doesn't work out? That, you know, I end up being really embarrassed about and going, oh, remember that time I did that thing? But you know, we all started exactly the same way, which was for us £12.50, for you guys $19.99. And as Freddy says, you know, come on guys, you know, you can blow that. I mean, my cousin can blow that in 30 seconds in Target. She loves the Target. You know, £12.50 or $19.99, depending on which side of the pond you're on. You know, it really isn't that much money. But, you know, I started off like everybody else, put my card details in, and an hour and a half, I sat down, I watched the videos. An hour and a half later, my phone made this weird noise in my pocket. I'd just gone on the school run. I was round at my best friend's house having a cup of tea, and my phone just goes, ka-ching. And I said, what the heck is that? What is that? My first sale. And it was a total profit of £5.57, I think it was. It was £5 and pence. That was the first £5 I'd ever made online. Wow. And I was just so excited about it because, yeah, it was £5, but it was £5 that I'd earned. I hadn't had the thing in my house. I think it was a Lego set. I hadn't had it in my house. I didn't know who I sold it to. I wasn't shipping it. I didn't have to go to the post office. It was epic. I did like a little happy dance and everything. Now, fast forward to, you know, I've been with DS now nearly, one and a half years nearly. I was lucky enough to get to the first event in Vegas. Now, that, again, was a big thing because I had never left the country. I travelled from the UK to Vegas, and that was an experience, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, hang on. Come on, guys. Mummy's working. These things happen. But you know, it was the first event that I'd ever been to out the country, and again, I went to Vegas. Now that was interesting. Made the mistake of taking a card from somebody on the street. Would not do that ever again. Wouldn't recommend it. And I met some amazing, amazing people. Fast forward a year, and as Freddie said, you know, is it only a week since we were in Dallas? You know, it was, you know, only a week that we were back. We came back from Dallas and heard, you know, what changes they're going to make to this company. And you know, I'm surprised. I'm just surprised that in, you know, what the changes they're making is just amazing. It's going to be, even when I started back in the day, it was me, these videos, and whatever was in my head, which, ladies and gentlemen, ain't much. Nowadays, my job is going to be, put it this way, I might even have to go get a job just to fill my time, because my mind, you know, it's, what can you say? It's all going to be done for me. Essentially, the automation and everything, it's just going to be amazing. They have worked so hard, but it really has. And I come across people, because you know, I'm fairly visible in the UK. Maybe that's not just me. That's just my belt size. I meet people all the time, and they tell me, you know, well, I've been able to do this. I've been able to. One lady approached me. She said, because of DS, I've been able to send my daughter horse riding. She's always wanted to go horse riding, and we couldn't afford it, but now I can pay for horse riding lessons. Pony, that's something different. We might have to wait a little bit for our own pony, but we're nearly there. Now, me personally, I'm based in the UK. It's always been my thing to move over to the States, where my family live in. My family live in Orlando. I'm the only one left here in the UK, and DS Domination is allowing me to move my family to Florida this year before Christmas. Well, if you're going to pay your taxes, you might as well do it somewhere sunny with your own pool. At the end of the day, I used to have bricks and mortar, a chain of craft shops. Now, that wasn't enough to get me the visa to go to the States, whereas I'm not going to have a problem with my DS business. You know, it's something that I am willing to not only put in front of my friends and family, but in front of the US Embassy. I'm willing to go to the embassy and go, this is what I do.
Right.
But you know, if you know, to say it's changed lives. I mean, my partner Peter, he's a writer, but his day job was managing a bakery, and I've been able to say to him, "Look, sweetie, you hate your job. You absolutely hate your job. You don't need to worry about that anymore, because you know we're all right for money." And that was it. And then we went and spent a year. We went and spent a month over Christmas. It was the longest I've been able to spend with my family in the States. We went for a month over Christmas. He wouldn't have been able to do that if he was still working a job, because no company says, "Oh yeah, off you go. You go to the States for a month. No worries. We'll see you when you get back. Bring us a key ring." You know. But nowadays we can do what we like, because you know we both work from home, and DS is paying the bills essentially. So.
You know, Oberon, I want to pick your brain about this, because you were there at the event.
There's not much to pick, but carry on.
We were sitting at the same table, and you know, you heard some of my testimonies. I heard yours. We heard from all of the rest of our friends that we are hanging out with the whole time. Real people. You know, these are actually friends that I go to church with. David Munn, you know, him and I go to the same church.
You don't get much realer than David.
Yeah.
You don't get much realer than that.
Travis as well, and we are each talking about how much money we've made, and you know, I can say I've profited over $100,000 with the DS Domination since I've started, and that's just big life-changing income for me. But at the same time I'm saying this, I am watching other people that are just, maybe they have more time, maybe they don't have all these kids like I do, maybe they're single, they don't have a wife like I do, maybe, I don't know who, you know, but these guys are traveling the world. When we're referring to people like Dion and Nathan, and you know, these guys are leaders in DS Domination. For those of you out there that don't know, these guys are just, they have a lot of time on their hands, or they're just really, really good experts and have a lot more knowledge than I do, and that's completely fine. I want to know more. We're all growing, but they're making like $200,000 plus. Like, they're talking about making like $70,000, $80,000 profits a month. You know, that's just, it's sick. In the United States, Oberon, when I say that's amazing, we say that's sick, or that's nasty.
We've got TVs, we watch movies, we get you.
Oh, okay, so you know what that means. Okay.
But well, you know, You know what I noticed when we were at the table with these people is that not a single one of these top earners, and some of these guys, they could have bought the bar. They could have bought that bar. And yet not a single one of them was like, look at me. They were all sat there. And you know what struck me? They were all teaching and learning from each other. You know, there was one guy who was an absolute, you know, Sean was sat next to me, and he's, you know, amazing at the Amazon things. Carly wanders in, and she's an absolute guru for getting things ranked. You could write out your shopping list. Carly would get it ranked on every site you could think of in 10 seconds flat. But, you know, Sean was just talking to her, and she was more than happy to share. And that's what I like about this company. If I'm not sure about something, I can go to pretty much anybody, and they will help me out. Anybody could come to me, or one of the other amazing guys that that I'm sat next to virtually here, because that's just the way it is. I've been in other companies, and they're like, "You're not in my team. I ain't talking to you." Whereas in DS, you want to know, you ask, and if they've got time, they will answer it, no problem. And
yes.
that's amazing.
I've been at other companies as well, the traditional, conventional, multi-level marketing companies, and I have had people that literally walk with their nose in the air as if they were the captain of the cheerleading squad in high school. I remember when I was in high school, you know, everybody goes to the pep rally, and then all the students would be there, and then have all those cheerleaders go out there in the court, and there's always like the captain of the cheerleading squad, which she, you know, because she's the most beautiful, and everybody's looking at her, and all the guys want her phone number, she'd walk around with her nose in the air, and she always knew that, you know, her ego is huge. I go to multi-level marketing companies in the past like this, but conventional, traditional pyramid things like that, and everybody's like that, you know, like they have their suit on, they got their jacket on, walking around with their fat check. I was at this event, and like as Oberon said, I was talking to these guys who are making these hundreds of thousands of dollars that are really experienced in what I'm doing. I'm already having success. They're having major success. They're over here just giving me tips and tricks that I'm applying this week, and since I've applied them this week, Aaron Andrews gave me some tips that I've made $500 profit on in 24 hours. Like I'm like this. And that's just exciting to me, that a company would not be so much peacocking and full of themselves, but because it's so easy. I think that's what it is, Oberon. I'm figuring it out. It's because it's so easy to do, you don't need to peacock. In those other companies, the only way to recruit all these people is to be the Don. I'm Scarface. Oh, man, you don't know me? You know, I'm Al Capone. Oh, you don't know me? Everyone joins my team. You know, I'm so-and-so. Oh, you don't know? The last 10 multi-level marketing companies I was in, I was a diamond, I was a ruby, I was this, I was a president, I was all these things. So you come here and you're like, well, come on. You know, that's how you think. Over here, it's like, I just drop shipped all kinds of items. I made all kinds of money. You want me to show you how to do it? It's not like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, this is how I'm going to close this thing out right here. It's $19.95 to get started at the level of pro, and DS Domination 2.0. The difference between 2.0 and 1.0 was 1.0, there was very, very little ability to get help unless you had a large team, like the Dream Team, like us. We are the Dream Team. We're 5,000 plus, 6,000 plus strong. Now, DS Domination 2, the owners have completely leveled it all and took the leaders from all these big corporation teams within DS Domination, like the Dream Team and many other teams, the leaders that were giving great training that they have developed themselves. They've taken all these leaders from all these teams and put them together, and there's like 13 to 15 powerful gurus in every aspect, whether it be YouTube training, whether it be WordPress training, whether it be ranking your items on Google, whether it be any facet of making money. They've all came together, masterminded together how to, you know, rather than, well, I'm on this team and I'm on that team and we don't know each other, we don't even talk to each other because we're different teams. No, now they're on the same team and they're brainstorming, and your DS Domination 2.0 training modules have been recorded by all these individuals who have brainstormed together with the owners and founders of this company. So ladies and gentlemen, you have the best of the best. It's not like before. We have webinars every week. We have training every week. We have leaders within leaders within leaders. I'm a leader. I have my own team. It's just ridiculous. And then when we all get together, we're family. There's no peacocking here. There's no proud brown noses in the air. It's just, can you copy? Can you paste? Your mouse has a function. One side copies, the other side pastes. One side copies, the other side pastes. Can you do that? Ladies and gentlemen, 1995, I want you to go to the person that invited you to this hangout. If you found their link on a Facebook, if you found it on a Google+, if you found it on a screenshot of Instagram, if you found it on Twitter, wherever you found it from, go back to that same person and say, hey Mike, hey Sarah, hey Judy, hey Jeff, please introduce me to your affiliate link. I need to get started with you. And then plug me into that dream team, because that's the biggest, greatest team within DS Domination. So I'm going to go ahead and ask all you guys to just unmute yourself and from left to right, just say something amazing that would cause people to go ahead and get started today.
Okay, boss.
All right.
DSD will make you money. There's no doubt about that. Follow the training to make money. It will also skills. It will resurrect skills that you've since forgotten as well. And DSD is a family, an absolute fantastic place to be. I do not regret coming, and I look forward to the future with DSD too as well.
Yes. All right, Susan, why should people get started today?
Well, you should get started today because you're a fool if you don't. If you are waiting for a big green light or an angel of God to say start or whatever, you know, it's 1995. The worst it could get is you lose 1995 and you fall on your face. And, you know, like Freddy said, just don't buy pizza this week. And, you know, you're going to be, if you don't make this work for you, you'll be like 2%. There's 2% that fail at this, and so that's all I got.
All right, Paul, go ahead and you and your wife tell everybody why they should get started, in your opinion.
Well, the cool thing is everybody on this panel is technically a competitor against each other, but the customer base is so huge and everybody knows what the potential here, everybody's willing to help each other. So if you're looking for a team to be part of, the DS Domination team is no doubt the best company I've ever found to work with.
I think that it's a level playing field of success. Anybody can see. You don't have to be someone special, or you can be just who you are and do what the time frame that you have, the money that you have. It's level playing field. Success is for everybody in this company. And yeah, it's a no-brainer. Go and start and try it.
Yeah. All right, Katrina, why don't you go ahead and say a last closing word?
I would just say that, you know, for me, I was really disappointed that I waited a year after my friend Kelly had talked about it, because all I can think of is if I had jumped in when she first talked to me about it, how far ahead I would be now. And so if you don't start now, you'll always regret not starting later on. That's all.
That's good. That's good. All right, Oberon.
Well,
From the UK, just go ahead and close it out.
Well, I think if there's anything that Steve and I can prove, obviously, you know, my colleague Steve and I, we're both from UK teams, and this is an international thing. This isn't just a US thing. This is international. We have members making this work in nearly every country I could name, and probably more than you know, Freddy could name. So
Yes.
It's truly international. So it doesn't matter where you're based. You know, you can give this a go as well for the price of a pizza. You know, save your waistline, save your cash, make yourself a business.
Wow, save your waistline, save your cash, make yourself a business. I want to sign up all over again. Ladies and gentlemen, this hangout is now a wrap. Thank you for coming on board. Thank you for taking the time. Pass this hangout to your friends. Share it on your Facebook wall. Share it on all your social media outlets. Let everybody know what DS Domination is doing and how it's changing lives. God bless you.